treat people with respect and dignity, man. You know? Like, no matter who someone is, no matter who they are, whatever it is you're into, you treat them with respect and dignity. Even if they don't give you respect, you treat them, ya. And I felt that was dignity was taken away from me to be treated like that.
Thank you all for tuning in. I just want to say a big thank you to our sponsors, Chaiwala. As most of you will know, they are now in Dubai and going to take over the market. So be sure to check them out. Welcome to another episode of Recipe to Success, DXB. Today, I cannot tell you how excited I am. This has been months in the planning, and thank you to his team as well for making this happen. And of course, the legend himself. I don't think we really need an introduction, but we'll do one anyway, just in case. Khalid, pleasure. How are you?
Honor to be here, man. I'm doing good, alhamdulillah.
The honor is truly all mine.
Bless you, bro.
So for anyone who is living under a rock, who's never seen your face for some reason, why don't you give them a little bit of an introduction of who you are?
Thank you, bro. Well, it's the world of social media, man. So, a lot of people might know you, a lot of people might not. Yani. It just depends on your audience, right? But for me, Khalid Al Ameri, been a content creator full-time for about 5 years. I come from the UAE, live in Dubai. Was raised here in the UAE, Emirati father, Scottish mother. You didn't know that, huh?
No.
How come?
I don't know. I follow your content, but I didn't actually know that. Yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay.
I feel like I'm in trouble right now.
Did you do your research?
What, though? I'll be honest with you. I like to know enough about my guest that I can lead the questions, but I like to learn as well whilst I'm on the podcast.
Yeah, because then there's a bit of interest.
It's genuine, exactly. Otherwise, if I know everything, then it's boring.
Yeah, that's true, right? And then what questions are you going to ask?
Exactly.
But Scottish mom. I'm married to my soulmate, alhamdulillah, Salama. We have 2 boys, 2 angels, Kharif and Abdullah. And I just make videos, man. We do everything from travel videos where I ingrain myself in a local culture and a local religion that's like so different to mine, to understand and see how we relate to them, see the bridges that are between us, see the commonalities that are between us. And I've been surprised by the travels just to see how, in theory, how much common things are between us. So I just want to say that part of my work has been like some of the most life transforming. And Salama and I do comedy sketches together on like Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and stuff. And I love that too, because I've always been a comedian at heart. And there's a lot of comedy in my travel vlogs, but just to do pure comedy with Salama is like the best thing for me.
We call it couple goals.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot that goes on behind the camera. I don't know if it's goals, but we just try and like what you see on the camera is what you get. Yeah, there's I think that's why it comes so naturally to us, because the videos that we do are pretty much an extension of who we are as a couple. Like we go at each other all the time. We make fun of each other all the time. But yeah, and Salama has, gone off and built her company now. She's an entrepreneur. She's got her own cosmetic company, skincare. Shop Peacefull Skincare, www.peacefull.com. I was instructed to drop that in here, so please don't edit it out.
Anytime. We'll put it in the description as well.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, that's us in a nutshell, man.
Perfect. And what are some of the things that you're the proudest of that you've created over the past couple of years? I know you mentioned that you travel, and I know India was one of the recent ones that you did. What was some of the biggest achievements that you felt like, okay, you know what, I've actually done something good in my life? So many.
No, man, it's just like you kind of like have imposter syndrome, right? Like, you think like, was that really significant? Was it more of a impact for me rather than an impact for the world? For me, I think the proudest thing is like, as cliche as it sounds, I'm like so proud of the family that we have, the relationship that Salama and I have, because we've been through hell, man. Like as a couple, like we were at the brink of divorce a couple of times. We had really hard times, when we first got married after the romantic period that they talk about, like, and we had to deal with who we were in day to day. Not that we didn't know, but when the romance dies, there's a certain second wave of like reality that hits in. and we struggled a bit through that. We struggled when we went to America. It's like everything's been like a struggle, and nothing's really come easy for us. So I'm proud of the relationship that Salama and I have, because like she's my forever person now, because we've been through the worst. I don't think we can get any worse than what we've been through. So if we can get through that, we can pretty much get through anything. You know, I'm proud of that. That's like my greatest accomplishment, is marrying like a super strong woman like Salama, and it's changed my life. And the impact that she's had on everything from my personal life to my work has been incredible, you know. So shout out to her, yani.
That's beautiful.
Alhamdulillah, man. I'm telling you, man, if you marry the right person, man, like you've taken care of 99% of the things. If you marry the right person and you're focused on making that relationship something that's forever. Again, I say focus on making it forever. It doesn't come automatically. It takes a lot of work. When you get that right, man, subhanallah, everything seems to fall into place, man. There's no challenge out there that's too difficult, because you got a life partner that's in it with you. You're never alone. When you're sad, someone automatically to help, someone to cry with, someone to laugh with. When you're bored, someone to make fun of.
And also the interesting part is that you both are Instagram famous, you both create content, you both have achieved things together, so you know the reality. It's like, instead of, let's say you were Khalid Al Ameri, you had 1.9 million followers, but your wife didn't, and she was just behind the scenes, maybe it would be a different challenge.
Yeah. I think yeah, we're lucky we sort of like came into the same lane. Sorry, I didn't hit the mic. But we came into the same lane. It's luck, يعني, alhamdulillah, and يعني tawfiq min Rabb al-Alameen. يعني Allah's the greatest of planners. يعني. So the fact that, you know, he was able to plan our life out like that, and, you know, as always, you know, Allah plans, but it's on us to work. So we were able to work on our relationship as much as possible. يعني. Alhamdulillah, so I'm proud of what we've built as a family, because I feel it's strong, it's stable, it's forever, inshallah. And, you know, I'm proud of what we've built on social media. I'm proud of the audience that we have that engages with our work on a daily basis. Our Facebook page just crossed 7 million, and it took a ton of work. And I did daily videos for like a year after I lost my job. I used to film, edit, publish all by myself. I'm proud of our reputation as people with strong values, and people know what we stand for. And, you know, Salama and I didn't grow this audience overnight. It was 5 years of tireless work, of videos, of skits, of traveling, of building teams, of, you know, being alone again, building again. So I'm really proud of what we've accomplished and what we can accomplish, yani, through it. And I'm seeing Salama do it with her Peacefull cosmetics. Sorry. I'm seeing Salama do it with her skincare brand and start a whole new challenge. And I see the stuff, and this is why I'm proud of it, because I see how easy she could have it. Like, she could do like a couple campaigns a month, a week, and be Gucci, you know, be all good. Mm-hmm. But she chose like, no, I'm going to build something from the ground up. Again, 2 years she built her company. And I feel that's khalas, it's kind of like in our DNA. Like, when we get too comfortable, it's like, you know, what's going on? And to have that sort of mindset is something that I'm super proud of. You know, proud of some of the people that I've been had the opportunity to interview. Interviewed the president of Pakistan, which was a huge honor for me to be able to. It was just like on the day we were coming back from Pakistan, we did a series there. Got a call like, yeah, you need to stay for another day. Like, why? Yeah, we'll let you know. Got to interview him, you know, and just being able to, and dude, that's like a big deal for me. I'm just a YouTuber. Think of.
I wouldn't say just.
That's the thing that everyone says. You're just a YouTuber. Yeah. Like, but we're really weird. Like, I feel like people who are like on the podcast scene, Instagram scene, YouTube scene, like you're the mainstream media now. Yeah, and you're the new media now. But like, to have that opportunity as being just a YouTuber, to be able to interview the head of a state, was just a huge honor for me. And yeah, what we've been able to build through our platform and being able to provide for our family, provide a good standard of living for our family through the work that we do is probably my greatest achievement. Yani, whatever money I make, I this is what I wear every day. Like, I don't have, everything's for my family. And, it just makes me proud that I've been able to live my dream after going so many years of, not following my passion, to be able to flip things up at a relatively older age and be able to provide for my family and make my family proud and provide for them and inspire my kids who now want to be entertainers. That makes me proud. That means I'm doing something right as a dad, and, to be able to make all these people laugh and build bridges amongst communities. I like to think that I'm doing the right thing as a human being.
No, that's amazing. That's amazing. And, we'll go into more detail about what happened before you started your content creator journey. But I'm always intrigued to learn about your childhood, little Khalid, and, how you then evolved. Because sometimes you see the careers that people follow and there was some sort of connection when they were younger. Like they were either funny or there's something they had in school. So I'll be, intrigued to know more about how, what your upbringing was like and how that, led to where you are today.
Bro, but I was like, as you were talking, I was like, and this guy's getting it all right, man. MashaAllah. Like, given what I've been through, again, it's a personal belief. We are allowed to have those, right? Like, it's a personal belief that you always know what you're meant to do in this world, but it's the world and society that tries to shift you around. Like I go back, my mom sees me on videos now. She's like, that's you when you were 5. Khalid, that was my little boy coming in when I was sitting with my friends and just putting on a little show for us for no reason, doing an impression of his teacher, cracking us up, And, when I would come home, like my superheroes were like Jim Carrey, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. Shout out Jim Carrey. That was my hero, right? That's the guy I wanted to be. And I would go into class, alrighty then. I would impersonate him, Robin Williams, Mrs. Doubtfire. Classic. That's who I wanted to be. Just to be clear, I didn't want to be Mrs. Doubtfire, but I wanted to be that sort of entertainer. I would watch Robin Williams in Peter Pan. I'd watch Robin Williams in all these movies, and I wanted to be that. I'd watch Ace Ventura, or Jim Carrey, and that's who I wanted to be growing up. Like in dress day, when we had to wear costumes, some people would wear Batman, Superman, police. I was like going there as S Ventura, Pet Detective, crazy loud shirt and some tracky pants, the hair. But it was always there, man. I always knew, and I was the class clown, just the one that when things got bored, they'd be like, Khalid, do something, make us laugh. And wasn't a tough guy, wasn't a fighter, just
that was it.
Just I was in the school plays. I love to entertain people. I think it's a superpower, man.
It really is.
I really do.
Honestly.
Like I'll tell you why, because when I would have a horrible day at school and come home and put on, a Jim Carrey movie or a Robin Williams movie, it made me happy. And for me, being happy, being able to make people happy, I think is the greatest superpower.
Honestly, it really is.
I really think it is. It's crazy to me the amount of people, and alhamdulillah, some of the greatest comments that I get on any of the work that we do is when someone said, I had a shit day, man.
I've been there, by the way. Yeah. I've been there. Going on Instagram, stumble across your videos and you're going through a difficult day and you just start laughing.
Yeah.
And then you start scrolling and watching more and more and more. And honestly, it really is a superpower for sure.
For that to me is is one of the greatest gifts you can give, is the ability of people to laugh and to smile and to forget their day if they've had a horrible one. But then, and back then there was no social media and stuff like that. It was either you were in Hollywood or in, working at the BBC or whatever it was, CNN as a presenter. And, back then, media wasn't like an option for a lot of people, right? It was a Western sort of thing. You didn't see many people in this part of the world going into careers in media. So, you go to college, work at a random job that just got nothing to do with you and anything that you're passionate about, but it's just to have a job. So you can tell your parents to have a job. So you can tell the parents of the girl that you want to marry that you have a job. No, they don't, like, no one asks you, like, you got a job? Yeah. They'll never ask if you like it.
No.
You got a job? Yep. That's good enough for
Make
me.
good money? Okay, good.
Good money? Yeah. You can take care of, you can raise a family? Yep. Khalas, good. But, are you happy? Mentally, you good, man? No, it doesn't matter. You could be crying every day at work, man. And I've seen that too many times, and I've been there too many times. I used to get sick every month working at a job. Every month I would get a sinus infection. Just so you know the impact it has on kids, young adults doing things. Like when I was working in that job that I didn't like. So imagine I knew all along, like my parents knew all along that I was born to do what I'm doing now, to entertain, to make videos, to travel the world and present, things. When I worked in that job, like in a series of jobs, I worked at sea, cleaning toilets and all that stuff. I worked in corporate companies doing spreadsheets. I used to get sick every month. Like I would get like a sinus infection, full on, for no reason. Like Salama would have like all the antibiotics and all that stuff on standby, waiting for that day. And I used to get like stress related alopecia. Just parts of my hair would fall out, like chunks of it, of my beard. And that's your body telling you stop. Your body's not meant to get sick like that. Your body's not meant to react. That's a way of your body saying that internal stress that you don't feel, but it's just that little bit of waking up and going, oh, not again.
And your body and your mind.
Everything. Your body, mind, soul, kulla, man.
Exactly.
Everything,
all
bro.
Together.
And when I quit my job and started on this career, you know how many times I've been sick the same way I used to get sick like that?
0.
Yep. Not once. Not once, bro. I've been sick from exhaustion. The team in there can all talk about that. From working too hard on the things you love, you're going to get sick. That's your body telling you to take a break, to slow down. That's not coming home after a 9-to-5 job that you just sat there doing nothing, didn't go to the gym, didn't push your body in any way, didn't push your mind in any way, didn't push your creativity in any way. Came home and then you get sick. How? You didn't do anything? But that's your body telling you to stop. And I'm not saying that out of thing, but when you wake up happy, and again, this is a knock. This is not I need to reiterate for your audience. This is not a knock on office jobs. This is not a knock on any job. Saying entrepreneur is better than business is better than entrepreneur. Working a 9-to-5 job as an accountant is not good. Being a dancer is like the life of dreams. No, I'm not saying anything about any type of way that someone wants to earn a living. What I'm talking about specifically is doing something that you don't want to be doing.
You as an individual.
As an individual. If you work at a big company as an accountant and you love accounting, man, good for you, man.
Blessing,
you found it. Alhamdulillah. Do your thing, brother. Do your thing, sister. You're all good. But if you are an artist and you hate being an artist, that's what I'm talking about. So again, went on that corporate path, was miserable, learned a lot. You learn a lot about what you're not supposed to do. Learn a lot, had the opportunity to grow and learn many things about what it is to run a company. But there comes a point in time where you have to make a decision to bounce, man. Even in my corporate company, man, during like lunch, I would just make people laugh. I would like stand up and do an impression or do like a comedy routine or something like that. Even then, people were telling me, Khalid, you should do this, man. All the signs, man. But subhanAllah, ya akhi, when you're sitting there at a job, you're making the money, and it just has this ability to get you to go, oh, man, it's not worth it. But then when you sit in, man, like when you leave that and someone says to you, like, say you're 30, and someone says to you, do you want to do this for another 40 years? 40 years? You've just lived 30. So you want me to do another whole life and more? And that's when it really hurts. Like, that's when your body goes into shock. Like, I can't do this. I will die. Like, I can't. And then you figure out a way to make it work. Once that shock hits, you figure out a way. So Salama and I saved for a year, because that's usually what you need when you're like a single female, single male. You know, what they usually say is around 3 to 6 months of savings to be able to go out and try something new that you're passionate about. But for us, we had a family, we had like a mortgage and stuff. So we figured a year if I was going to take that risk. So we got a year, took the risk, and you'll be surprised at how your mind and your body adapt to your new life. And you wake up the next morning with this drive to just get things figured out. And the funny thing is they say that the day you quit is the most liberating, best feeling in the world. And the day you wake up the next day is like, oh shit, what have I done? Oh no. That's not true in my experience. The next day is not the scary day. What's the scary day is the end of the month when you don't get that text that your salaries hit your account. That's when it hits. And you see the first minus. Because everything's always like adding, you know, like you get your salary every month, saving a bit. This is the first time it goes down. And again, I had to change my mindset. So I think what we're programmed to do at a very young age is think about everything in increments of time. So I go to class from this time to this time. I go to school from this time to this time. My weekend is from this day to this day. I get my pocket money at the end of the week. I get my salary at my job at the end of the month. I get whatever it is, 2 weeks of holiday. Everything is in increments. Everything is systematic. You think of money in terms of increments of time. Whereas when I changed and I wasn't getting money in increments of time, you start to think about your wealth as a whole. Like, how do I increase my wealth as a whole to sustain, like I have no wealth for a year. How do I have overall wealth for 5 years, for my kids' college? Like, how does this overall wealth help them? And I stopped thinking about waiting for a salary at the end of the month. And when you stop thinking like that and think about your wealth as a whole, you're able to do things with a bigger mindset rather than what small things that I have to do to get like something at the end of the month. You think about, like, I started thinking about my wealth as a whole. Because when you start, if I was to quit my job and then think, how do I make money month on month? Then I'm just right back where I started. Whereas now I need to think, how can I build something that I might not make a lot of money now, but will be able to sustain me in the future and grow to be able to be this sustainable source of income for myself, for my family, for my grandkids. So that's sort of the journey, man. And here we are today, man. We have, our business obviously making media. That's sort of our mainstream of income. Salama's transition now to entrepreneurship, full-time skincare. It's her passion, it's her love. And, she's shining in that, man, because of the work ethic, man. It's all to do with work ethic. Given what we've been through, I think she can do anything. Give me a task. I'm not afraid of it. Give me something that you want me to achieve. I'm not afraid of it. Will I get it or not? I don't know. Will I succeed or fail? I don't know.
But you'll give it a go.
But I'll give it a go. Every time. Every time. And when you do that, you'll be surprised at how much, like say for example, you wanted to give starting a clothing company a go. If you really gave it a go with no fear, like full on, you might not have the next, whatever, H&M, but you might have a good, successful merch company making a good stream of income that can help build other things. So that's for me. Like, I wanted to be a movie, in a movie actor. But no, I'm not there, but I made this move and now we're able to make our own like mini movies and skits and stuff. And I'm so happy. So I didn't get where I wanted to be, but I got somewhere better, alhamdulillah. So when you make those decisions, and with no fear, and you're not worried, then you'll be surprised that once you do that, then you become so confident in your ability to try and without that fear of failure. And I think that for me is another, I would say, a superpower that people can have.
Mm-hmm. And when you were going through that transition where you decided that, look, this is affecting my health and I need to save for a year and I need to have something there so then I can take that risk. Was your plan clear? Like, did you know you were going to go on social media? And because obviously I'm guessing you had seen the emergence of social media. So was it at that point where the light bulb went off? Or was it just a risk?
No, it was a risk.
So you didn't know exactly what you were going to do, but you just knew 1 year
I just need to get out. Like I started as a writer. Like I was a writer and like I used to host like events. Right. And a lot of people don't know that about me. Like our like I write the skits and I write our scripts and stuff like that. We're only lucky because we're able to act them out. If I wasn't, I'd probably have a writing company right now because I wouldn't be able to perform. But I had enough knowledge of like the writing. So I was writing for the paper and hosting shows and doing coverage of events. I knew enough that like I knew it was something that I enjoyed and it was enough to take a risk on. But the social media, there wasn't much of the monetization that you see now and the deals that you see now. Like now it's crazy.
True.
Like, back then, 2016, when did I quit? When did I quit? 2016, 17, I think it was. I can't even remember, but like,
You just left that memory in the past.
Yeah, man. I don't want to think about it. It was tough times, man. Because even then I was trying to get a TV job when I quit.
That was a traditional route.
It was a traditional route. And I got rejected from, well, sorry, I don't think we touched on it. So I quit my job for a CNN gig. That was only a small show for like 4 weeks. But I thought, if I take the risk on this and I kill it, they might give me a full-time job. I was like, all right, Salama, got a year of savings. I've got this gig coming up. But I need to make it work. I need to hit home run after home run on this. Because then you get a contract. Did the show and it went really well, man. Like really, really well. And I didn't get a contract, but I got like a t-shirt and a mug.
So you were there. You were there.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for all your help. And I went home and I was like deflated, man. I was so hurt. So I thought, okay, let me take this concept that I did there and use it as a show to present to other TV stations. None of them wanted it.
Was there any feedback? Like, what was the reason?
We don't do English content, or not right now, or we're not hiring. And we don't need another presenter.
And this is at a point where pressure is on. You've left your job now. You're going through month on month.
Nothing hurts like more than feeling that you're failing your family. And that's how it felt.
At that point, was it in the back of your mind that if this doesn't go well after 12 months, I might have to get a job again?
Yeah.
Or were you just not?
Yeah, 100%. So it's all fun and games, and then once the CNN gig, and that was an unpaid gig.
It was just an opportunity.
It was an opportunity. And it was incredible. Like the learning, the experience was just something else, man. I loved it. I learned so much. And the exposure I got was just incredible. You know how they say, oh, you're going to pay my rent and exposure? This kind of did. Even though it wasn't money, it kind of felt like it could. But I remember going to interview after interview, job after presentation after presentation. Went to radio stations, TV stations, all of them. Nope. Ghosting me, not responding to text. And at that point, you're in survival mode, man. I want something, man. Like, give me £5 in my account. Give me something to show that this is working, man. And the thing that I didn't get is, like, at that point, I wouldn't say I was great at what I was doing, but I wasn't bad. I thought I was pretty good. Why? I'm like, I was presenting shows Then like one producer at the place said, look, we don't want this show. We have an idea for a concept if you want to write it, and we'll take a look at it. I went home that night, put the Nespresso machine at my computer, and I said, I'm not leaving this computer until I've written the whole entire show. Wrote the entire show and sent it to them the next morning.
Wow.
Got back home at 8 a.m., finished it at about 8 p.m., finished it at 5 a.m., sent it to them. You know,
the motivation was just different.
Survival, bro. Survival. And you know when I heard back from the producer? This was in 2017, I think it was. Still haven't heard back.
You're joking.
He hasn't responded to my email, bro. Respond to my email, man.
They're lost, clearly.
And I remember the last part was I went to a job at a TV station, a big TV station. And this was like kind of the straw that broke the camel's back for me when I thought or started to think the way you were saying, like, if this doesn't work out, this is the moment that I came where I thought, this was a horrible decision. And it was Ramadan. And a TV station called because I had reached out and sent emails like, I'm a presenter. I'd like to have an opportunity to I don't even know what the word is, audition for this station. And they're like, yeah, come in tomorrow, 8 a.m. and Ramadan. See the eyes light up. No. So I got my fresh tailored Kendora, went to the laundry, got it all steamed, ironed, everything. You know, like woke up in the morning. I put it in the car, like flattened it out so I wouldn't have to wear it in the car so it wouldn't get creased. So I wore what I'm wearing underneath, like a t-shirt and the wazar in the car. Like it was like a movie. Kissing my wife on the head in the morning. She's still asleep. She's like, praying for you, Khalid. Good luck. This is it. I feel it. And stuff. This is gonna be the thing. This is gonna be it. You know, it's Ramadan. And well, I checked on my kids, kissed them on the head. I was emotional as hell, man. I was like, this has to work. There's only so much rejection any human can take. I was at 8. I think I got there at 6:30. Parked outside, just started watching some of the best presenters. Learning what they did, how they did it. Just reviewing, practicing, doing videos of myself. Went in at 7:55. And there was the security there, like the receptionist. Yeah, I'm Khalid. I'm here for my audition. They're like, Khalid, yeah. Sorry, your name's not here. I'm like, I'm here for the audition. Like I was told. Like, sorry, your name's not here. There's no auditions this morning. So I called the girl that I had talked to, who had set it up. I'm like, oh yeah, sorry, I forgot, man. I forgot. Can you just wait there? Like one of these editors walks in like half an hour later. You could tell he just woke up and was angry at me because I was probably the reason he woke up. Stood me in front of the monitor. Speak. All right, done, out. Can I take a look at the edit? Yeah, come. Like, are you going to do... No, yeah, this is what we're doing. Yalla, that's pretty much it. Went home. Got in the car. It was the most degrading... I've never felt so low. Like... You
were prepared, so prepared.
Yeah, I was prepared, and I don't know what it is with people, man. Like, treat people with respect and dignity, man. Like, no matter who someone is, no matter who they are, whatever it is you're into, treat them with respect and dignity. Even if they don't give you respect, treat them, And I felt that dignity was taken away from me to be treated like that. Like I'm a proud man, and I'm a proud husband, a proud father, and to be treated like that for me was just, I felt really low. You didn't even remember I was coming. And then I got in the car and I was driving, and I started like getting those
Anxious
feeling.
feelings.
And I had to pull the car over, man. I started bawling, crying my eyes out, bro. Like, how am I supposed to look at my kids, bro? My wife, my family, you know, I can't. Like, it's one thing for me to suffer myself, but for them, they didn't do anything. This is my dream. Selfish, whatever you want to say, man. I felt that. Cried. Just got it out my system and then drove back home. Salama, how did it go? Yeah, we'll hear back. Hopefully hear back soon. You know when I heard back from them? Still haven't heard back from them.
What? Is
out there
that bad?
Hear back from them.
They don't even respond?
Nothing. And Allah Kareem, bro. Allah Kareem. I remember, like, then after a few weeks, man, I was out with Salama, and I tell this story because, you know, she's my angel, man, like my guardian angel. We were out, just me and her shopping, and she could see I was visibly anxious. I was telling her, you know, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm trying to figure it out and stuff. She looked at me in the classic Salama look. She's like, enough of your, you know, BS.
I can picture it now.
Yeah, enough. Where was this show that you did that did well? I'm like, on Facebook. Then do it on Facebook. You don't have Facebook? You have Facebook? Like, yeah. But how? Here's a camera. She took me and got me a camera. Here's a camera. It was a Canon. I think it was a 70D. My camera said, yalla, make videos. And I was on a warpath. Every day I made a video. Every day for like 500 days.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, it took my back out, man. Still suffering. Because you edit all night, you know.
Of course. And the ideas as well. That's something people don't really speak about much.
Man. So now wherever you put me in like a room with nothing in it, like with a phone, it's got a camera on it, I will have a fully ready edited video by the time I come out. Like, that's what all that experience gave me. I'm not worried about making a video or creating. And, you know, like, you'll ask, like, how do you come up with ideas, the pressure? A tennis player, you know, they practice every day. Do they have to think about, when they're on the court, do they have to think about how to hit a backhand? No. They hit a backhand. They flow in the game. You know, the people who, the great, and I want to be great at what I do. And I feel the people who are great at what they do, and I use athletes because it's something that we can all kind of connect to. Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't think they think about how to play the game or how to, like, you know, Venus Williams, Serena Williams, I don't think they think about how to hit a tennis ball. It's
like boxers. They say that when they train, all the work is the training. So when they go into the ring, they just have to follow what they were doing in training and hope that that's going to work out, because it's just like muscle memory. It's just, you're not even thinking at that point.
That's the word I was like, yeah, you said it. That is muscle memory. Like, think of us, can you make a video about this cup? Yeah, sure, give me half an hour. I'll have the script, I'll get ready filming, everything will be good. I don't worry about that. It's muscle memory. And, you know, I started making videos, and then you always get that first call, like, you know, I'll give you, you know, £500 to come and make a video about this. Or I think it starts for free. Then I still remember that one where it wasn't £500, it was a bit less than that, but like, we'd like to pay you to come and make a video about this. And that's when I'm like, all right, we're not out of the woods yet, but
that was that progression that you needed.
That's the validation that I needed. Exactly, the progression, the validation that I needed, that it was going to work.
And it must have given you some hope.
Big time, khalas. And the audience was growing. Yeah. I mean, the audience was growing at the time, so there's validation. But
that doesn't pay your bills.
Doesn't pay the bills. And I remember when I first got my first pay, it was the greatest feeling, bro. Like, that first email, I'm just like, thank you, alhamdulillah. And the rest is history. So, you know, like I said, you know, Salama's been a source of pretty much everything good in my life, including the career that I have today.
Wow, that is such a beautiful story and so inspiring, because I think there's so many people that can relate, where they have a dream, maybe they don't take that jump, and they don't believe in themselves enough. And you're a prime example that even if you believe in yourself, sometimes the universe needs to help you as well.
100%.
God needs to help you. And when you constantly go through this challenge, it might not always work out, but you have to take that risk eventually. So you got your first pay from an opportunity, and you got that level of progression, that kind of your shoulders were, sticking out of it.
Yeah, breathing a little easier.
No more tears.
We're going to McDonald's tonight, honey. Get the kids ready.
So then how does that journey go from there? Obviously you were working hard on Facebook, and you had seen social media was now working for you. Where did it go from there, and how did you then actually turn it into a real career?
For me is I think for me it was experimenting, because I used to make very formal presentation videos like, Salama alaikum everyone, we are in front of the Burj Khalifa and we're going to go up to take a look at it. But I saw that was it was evolving. So I just said, I did that for a long time, and it was successful. Just short snippets of information, for people to share on our culture, on our religion, on landmarks, on events and stuff like that is happening. But I wanted to experiment. And I think that's what sets us apart, is we're not afraid to experiment. So Salama and I experimented with a skit, and the comedy took off. Then I'm like, let me do a vlog. Let me show people behind the scenes. Oh, and that took off. Let me interview people. All right, then that's another source. Let me do a reel now that we have. And the thing that I think is a true differentiator is whenever someone watches or subscribes to a Khalid Al Ameri channel, whenever they get that notification that something's been posted, they don't know what they're going to get. Is it a travel vlog? Is it a food video? Is it a comedy skit? Is it a presentation on something that's happening in the world?
Which is amazing, because a lot of content creators are very one-dimensional.
You can't be. Because you never know. Because for me, the travel is what helps the growth of my pages, is what people are fascinated by, to see other cultures and other cuisines and stuff, or see culture through food, which I find fascinating to see. I just came back from Nepal, which was so eye-opening to me. And there's a lot of growth that comes with that, personal and in terms of your platforms. But the money comes from the skits and the comedy videos and how to incorporate brands into your comedy.
You are a genius at that, by the way.
Thank
I
you.
have to say. The way you do ads, I've never seen anything like it. Literally, you create comedy, you don't make it cheesy, the brand benefits, and your audience doesn't get pissed off.
Alhamdulillah, man. Alhamdulillah. La, it's just because the audience comes first.
Mm-hmm.
I have so much respect for our audience. So much. Because when you start taking them for granted, they're the reason that we are here today. There's no if, buts, maybes. They are the reason you're able to do what you do. So your responsibility is to them. And when they get a notification, if they hesitate, oh, what's this guy talking about now? Is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? I don't know, man. Respect your audience first, above the brand. And you'll see where that takes you, because your audience grows. And the brands will keep coming, and you'll be like, nah, I'm not doing that. We'll do it the way that I want, which is going to entertain my audience, make them happy. And then it's good for you, because my audience appreciate that you wanted to work with me on their terms. Right? Mm-hmm. I'm just the messenger in this case. So for me, it's about respecting the audience no matter what. When you start trying to shove things in their faces of all these things that you know nothing about, but you're being paid to tell them how great it is. So it doesn't make sense. You should try this washing liquid. It's a great one. Come on, man. You think you're stupid? What the hell? You're obviously being paid to say that. And what do you know about washing liquid? Were you in the lab making it? We don't know anything about it.
Yeah, some ads are so funny, honestly.
You can't do that, man. Like, but if you have to, like, I get it, man. We need to pay our bills. We need
But
to feed our kids.
you put a creative spin on it. That's what it is.
I have to. I can't not. And now, like, I think we've gotten to the scale where we can sort of dictate the terms of how we're created. Like that's what I never understood, man. Like, you're a brand that make an excellent, shampoo. That's what you're good at. What I'm good at is connecting with my audience.
So why are you going to give me the script?
Why are you giving me the script and the ideas or telling me what's good or bad? Did I come into your office and tell you how to make great shampoo? I don't know the first thing about making shampoo. If I did, guess what? I'd be making shampoo. And if you knew anything about being, engaging my audience, not engaging a audience, engaging my audience that I built from zero, that I blood, sweat, tears, all of that to get to where we are today. I built it. No one else did. You're going to come and tell me now how to talk to them? Insulting.
Honestly, when you break it down like that.
It's insulting. So for me, this is how, first of all, the brand has to align with our values. If all those checks are clear, then if you trust me, let me engage with my audience. Let me talk to, I know about your product, but I'm not an ad guy. That's what I say to them. Guys, if you want an ad, I'm not your dude. I know others who might be able to help you that do great ads, pure ads. And again, not a knock on ads. This is a knock on forcing someone to make ads when they're not an ad person. I know people, but if you want to work with me and the way that we do our creative content, then by all means, much love and much respect, and we'll do the best job possible. So, it's even now with the audience that we have, it's still tough, A lot of these brands are just like, yeah, but we'd rather have the logo at the front, the very beginning, before you. Why? I get it, but to each his own.
Do you ever think, you said that at one point, Allah is the best of planners. Do you ever think in hindsight that what if you did get that CNN job, or you did get that opportunity where they forgot about you, maybe you wouldn't have built your own platform?
Dude, 100%. 100%. Alhamdulillah wa shukr. Allah is the best of planners, man. Like Salama and we're polar opposites, man. Like, you can ask her what she envisioned in a husband before she married me. I was the complete opposite. And when I envisioned a wife, she was the complete opposite. She was raised in a completely different way than me. She comes from a huge family. I come from a small family. They do things differently than I do. And we just, subhanAllah, Allah's the best of planners. And, I believe Allah put me through, I worked at sea for 2 years.
Wow.
It was horrible.
Sea?
Yeah, at sea. Cleaning toilets and stuff. I was telling you about it at the beginning, yeah. I worked at sea for 2 years on board ships.
Okay.
Yeah. My first job was cleaning toilets, painting, sweeping. Then I worked in companies. And Allah's the best of planners. Why? Because I don't think I would have the work ethic that I have now without all that.
It's like sometimes when you're going through things, you don't know which door is going to open, or what even if there is going to be a door open. Yeah. But you have to just keep persevering and have that trust sometimes.
100%.
Whilst obviously having that work ethic as well.
You have to, yeah.
Nothing is just going to come to you.
And you can't just sit on the couch and say, Allah's going to give me. La, habibi. Allah gives you legs to walk, to go somewhere. He gives you a brain to think, to do. But in terms of planning, it was, Allah is the best of planners, man. It's beautiful. Just now I think I got everything when I was responsible. I had the work ethic. That's when the door opened for me, when I was ready to take on that.
Timing is key.
Timing is key.
Sometimes you want it to happen at that point, but
you're
not ready for it.
Yeah, man. And you see all these young people who get a huge audience, and they all go through some stuff, man, that they're not ready for. And they wonder why it's happening. Or then when times get tough, you don't know what to do because everything was so easy, man. Like I worked on a ship where I couldn't touch land for 4 months. Cleaning, doing shifts, 6 on, 6 off, not getting enough sleep. Being treated like crap. Disrespected. I've seen it all, man. When it comes to vocations, no job is below any human being. And when you start thinking like that, that's when you realize you're going off the wrong path. So I know people who grew really quick. You know, someone was filming them, they grew quick, then all of a sudden the audience isn't growing the way they want it to. The emails aren't coming through the way they want them to. The checks aren't coming through the way they want them to. Like, how? It was so easy. It was so easy. What do I do? Like, yeah, this is where the real work starts, man. When things aren't going your way. So for me, the reason I always say Allah is the best of planners is because He opened the door at the exact right time. Which is why I feel we bring a level of creativity and professionalism to the market that always keeps us, you know, in good standings with a lot of people in the corporate world and in the branding world. Is because a lot, like, you'll be surprised, you know, with a lot of these brands, they'll like hire someone and they'll show up on the day with their phone. All right, what do you want me? Where is it? Oh, that? Okay, yeah, let's go. For us, it's like, you know, we're right. For us and a lot of others, again, I'm not trying to generalize anyone, but a lot of people will just show up. You know, I got an audience of 2-3 million. Can just take my phone out, say a few things, hit up the brand, take my money. For us, we're a crew. We write scripts. We get it approved by the client. We incorporate all the scenes. It's like a mini movie.
Literally.
So if I had started when I was young with none of this professional knowledge, and now if my whole team, you know, God forbid, my whole team go and I have a job the next day, believe me, I'm doing every single one of those people's jobs on that day. I'm going to be the film person. I'm going to be the editor. I'm going to be the actor. I'm going to be the site person. I'm going to be the producer. I'm going to be everything. Because I have that work ethic khalas ingrained into my DNA.
And now your skills are so diverse as well.
Alhamdulillah.
Because of it.
Yeah, like if things go badly, I can be a writer. I can be a editor. I can be a director, like direct brand commercials and stuff like that. And I think like all this has given me the experience to do diverse things. I just love being in front of the camera. So as long as that's paying the bills, I think I'm going to be doing this forever.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. And a true success story of, you know, going from zero to hero and really just following your dream and following the journey. Now, one thing that I'm curious about, which I want to ask you about is, especially in the UK, I mean, I don't know if it's affected culture here, but I'm sure it's global, where now that we are in the social media era, you know, we have these constant reminders of what this person is doing or what this person is doing. And sometimes we can feel lower about ourselves because of what we see other people doing. And what tends to happen over time is you achieve a goal and now you want the next thing. Now you want the next thing. You want the next thing. So quite a deep question. Now that you've gone through everything you've got through and you've come at the other side, are you happy? And you know, for you, where does the most fulfillment come from?
Bro, if today was like every single day, I would be happy.
Because, you know, like content creators, they can get caught up in, oh, this video got 200,000 views, this one got 50,000 views, and they feel depressed when they see the numbers go up and down, and their validation and their happiness comes from the results that are online that other people can see as well. So for anyone that is, you know, in that kind of realm, what would you advise?
I am always like, I'm a researcher of social media. All right. So understanding what the platforms want is critical. See, now Instagram, for example, is pushing reels like crazy, man.
Crazy.
Why are you still posting pictures? And then complaining that you're not getting the engagement you want. Why? My pictures are lowering engagement. Of course they are. I mean, the management of Instagram came out and said we're not just a photo place anymore. Like, if that's not the biggest hint that you should lean into reels, then why not? Then I'm sorry, it's on you. That's one. Always understanding where the platform's going and leaning into that. That's one. Second thing, experiment with different stuff, man. Like experiment with different stuff. Okay, that video got fit. Like when we have a video that does bad, best believe we're sitting there micro-analyzing what went wrong. And we'll have our theories. We could be right, we could be wrong. But we have this culture of assessing a video. Even if a video does really well, what could we have done better? Constantly analyzing your work. Being not self-critical, but just taking the time to think, how can I improve? And then doing more of that. But for me, like, I try not to tie, I know it hurts, man, when a video doesn't perform well. It really does. I'm not taking it.
It's your craft.
It's your craft. But like, again, I need to preface this with, did you put 100% effort and it didn't do well? That really stings. But there'll be some videos but see, for some people, you know, it's like, I made a great video, the skit, it did like, you know, 10 million views and stuff. Then you're like all confident, you take out your video, hey, blah, 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 and then it does like 3,000 views. I'm like, sorry, you didn't really do anything. So for me, it's always like doing more of what's working, analyzing what the platform wants. And they all want different things, and it's exhausting. I get it. But if a platform is saying that they're looking at one thing, they'll never, no platform will ever say we're fully like this. Do Reels to be the most successful. No one's going to say that. But if a platform's pushing a certain product, it's important to lean into that as much as possible and figuring out how to adapt. For me, after we do the Ramadan series every year, then we take a break for 3 weeks after that, or a month. The first thing that we do when we all meet again is we say, okay, how are we going to change things up? What are we going to test? What are we going to experiment with? Because you never know what's going to work. If I didn't experiment with skits, I wouldn't have half the success that I have now. I don't think. I mean, I just saw it was going well, and I decided to learn more about it. Study it. Do courses. Study the best comedians. Study the best skits. What are Key and Peele doing? I said, like, look at all this stuff. And for me, the thing for me is like, the tough thing is, I remember watching a video, I can't remember who it was, but some guy went up to a big creator and said, you know, I'm making videos and they're not really, like, I'm getting like, you know, 500 views, 600 views, YouTube videos. And like, do you have any advice for me? And he said, you know, how long have you been making the videos for? I think it was something like a couple of years or something like that. It's at that point that you have to think, you know, well, if you're doing the same thing, you know, there's a famous quote that doing the same thing all the time and expecting different results is like insanity, right? It's crazy.
Einstein, I think.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was, but like, so you were making the same videos for 2 years and you saw it wasn't working, you kept going.
Because you thought it was good. Because you thought it was,
yeah. So understanding what audience wants. What's working on YouTube? What's working on Facebook? What's working on Instagram? What's working on these platforms? I'm a constant studier of these things. If you look at Mr. Beast, you know, he's created a whole new genre. Now you're seeing a lot of these creators look at that and be like, yo, that seems to be a model. These big experiments, you know, hiring 100 bodyguards or stuff like great videos, man. Like real creative, and they dump a lot. And now you're seeing creators dump a lot of money into their videos. Where before they wouldn't. Mm-hmm. Before it was just a vlog. So when I see someone vlogging, which was like, you know, 5, 6 years ago, where it was like the vlog, just take a camera out, go for 20 minutes, thumbnail, a clickbait thumbnail and title, where only the last 10 seconds has anything to do with the title. If you're doing that today and wondering why it's not working, then that's, you know,
that's on you.
That's crazy. That's on you. So constantly researching and experimenting and testing with different platforms and different types of content. All right. And thinking you want it to be a YouTuber. You put a snippet of your YouTube on TikTok and it blows up. All right, then. Maybe I'm a TikToker. Nothing wrong with that. You know, they've just released 10-minute videos now. I don't know why, but 10-minute videos. So I think for us, we're in this constant mode of experimenting, constant mode of trying new things, constant mode of, okay, this didn't work. Why am I going to try it again?
Just being a student of the game.
Always, bro. Sorry, you just summed up everything I said in like one line. I apologize for rambling, everyone. Yeah, I'm a constant student. I'm always studying creators. I'm always studying the platforms. I'm always reading the news about what the platform's doing. So if anyone's on Instagram now is not leaning into Reels, then it's on you. Because that seems to be the thing that they're pushing now for obvious reasons.
Yeah, of course. You mentioned earlier in the podcast that you went through a phase of creating content for 500 days. And even now you're constantly, traveling and your schedule is crazy. Your team can obviously vouch for that, where it's just random, things happen and you have to travel. And there is a lot of pressure on you, I think, also now that your audience wants to see more content. And for you, obviously, you want to keep going and keep growing. So how do you deal with the pressure now? Because obviously the challenges that you have today are very different to the challenges you had 5 years ago. But what did that transition look like and how do you deal with it now?
I feel like I'm dealing with the same thing all the time, man. It hasn't changed in 5 years since I started. I put a lot of pressure on myself, and time will only tell if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But I act today as if I have no audience. Like I have no audience. That's the way I act. So what do I have to do to gain one person? And sometimes my team look at me like, dude, why are you doing this, man? You don't need to do this. You're so past this. Relax. Maybe I should. I really am at that stage where I don't know. And I put so much pressure on myself, bro. Like to always have something out there that's just brilliant every day. Because I know I have the capacity to do that. But what will that do to me in the process? Because it's not health. I don't think it's healthy. Like I would love to, like I know I say this now, but I would love to have the job that I have now, that I show up at 9 and leave at 5. But it's not like we have a weekend rule now where we don't do any social media on the weekends. 0.
It's good.
No checking. Because social media is work to us, bro.
Of course.
It's not
fun.
It's not not a source of enjoyment or anything. It's work. It's work. So if I'm not working, why am I on social media? So weekends, we don't check, we don't post. Nothing. No stories, no videos, nothing.
You have to be able to draw that line.
Have to.
For your own sanity.
100%. Because then social media is your life, and your life is social media. And where
it crosses over into the real world.
Always. So we have that rule. But when it comes to day to day, I'm just always thinking about what can I put out today to really entertain everyone. And in the short form content that we have today, 7-second TikToks, the 7-second reels, it's easy and expected, or people assume it's easy, and it's expected that I get something from you every day. But now I've just been thinking, and I used to hold myself to that standard, a reel a day, done. But now I'm like, is that good? I'm never gonna run out of ideas. That's for sure. Because like we talked about earlier, the muscle memory. But is it good to be in people's faces every day? Isn't it good to just let people breathe a little bit? Maybe every other day. Give like, oh, there's another fun. Oh, there's he is again. I don't necessarily think like that. And I study also some of the big YouTubers. You got Mark Rober, the ex-NASA scientist, once a month, 12 videos a year. I mean, they're enormous videos, like ridiculous. But, that's his thing. Sophia Nagard, she does she's this, her? She was like a Standford graduate, and she's brilliant. She does all these crazy experiments with like different products. And she'll order like
scientific,
not scientific, but like, well, there is a sort of a science to it. But she'll like, for example, make like like go to Lush and buy every bath bomb and make one big major bath bomb, and she'll buy the contraption to make. She does this type of stuff. It's just like crazy to see, and very articulate, you know. And she's like, I believe she's every 2 weeks, like a good 20, 30-minute video, you know. I mean,
because I think it gets to a point. I know you treat it like you've still got 0 followers or 1 follower, but the reality is that you don't really need to compete for that attention anymore, because you have set the standard. People know what to expect. People know, well, they don't always know what to expect, but they know that whatever Khalid puts out is going to be entertaining. It's going to be some sort of benefit, or I'm going to enjoy this in some way. So you don't necessarily have to, you know, claw to get that attention, because you've already got it in a sense.
I hope.
And you have to put the human Khalid first sometimes, which can get difficult, but it's important, especially the family man, the father, the husband.
I needed to hear that, bro. Like, I mean, I do prioritize now. Like, when I was in desperation mode, it was always work, because the family relied on it. But now, you know, I mean, now, alhamdulillah, you know, I make a lot of time for the family. Pick up my kids almost every day from school. You know, so I try, but, you know, I'm struggling. I think because of everything I've been throughout my childhood, growing up, I'm struggling to let go of that clawing away, trying to make it mentality. Because I feel that if I act as if I've made it, then that's when you'll start to see the downfall of Khalid.
To be honest, though, I'm not just saying this because you're here. Truly, truly, one of the most humble people I've met. Not just on camera, I'm talking about off camera. Especially with the size of your followers, by the way. Because a lot of people, they do get caught up in the numbers. They do maybe become a little bit arrogant over time, and, you know, they lose that human connection. But I think when I've met you for the first time, it was like, wow, like this guy, he's chilled, man. He's chilled. He's just a normal guy, and he's relaxed, and he's not trying to prove anything to anyone. He's proud of who he is. And even your team, when I spoke to them like a few months ago, one of the things that resonated and stuck in my head is they kind of mentioned that you don't do things based on who that person is or how many followers that person is, or et cetera, et cetera. If it feels right to you, you'll do it because you were there once. And it's important for you to support small, medium, large, all kinds of creators. So I think that in itself truly is refreshing. Even to the fact that you don't have to be in a lot of places that you are. Like, you don't have to turn up. You don't have to go to these kind of places. There's more benefit for the other person than there is for you, but you still choose to do it. And maybe that is the mindset of you're still trying to make it. But I don't think you should ever lose that.
No, I can't.
Yeah, and I don't think you will, because you would have by now.
No, it's been drilled into me, bro. I mean, I come from a very humble background. You know,
your experience is your perspective.
A lot of people have this impression on Arabs in the Arab world. My dad had to work his butt off for every dirham. No handouts ever given to him, to me, to my brothers. You know, my mom worked in a nursing home, you know, to save up money for a ticket to be able to come here with my dad.
Wow.
All right. So, I mean, my family drilled into me the importance of work ethic. My parents, you know, taught me the importance of respect, of dignity, of humility. Allah folk. You know, all this is nothing, man. You know, I mean, who you are means nothing. It's how you treat people that dictates who you are. Because who you are is how other people see what you value. So carry yourself proud. Treat people with respect. Don't let anyone undermine you or try and take your dignity. Because I did. And it's the worst thing in the world. That's why I give it as a form of advice. But, you know, the minute you start to lose like that part of you, you start losing everything. You know, there's no, like, I don't have a car, bro. I don't have a car. Salama has her car. There's a car for the kids to take them to school. But me, Khalid, with a car, I don't have one. All right? And then when I worked in the government job, I had a Range Rover, man. and alone for it too. And I felt I didn't feel right any of the time. I feel amazing now. And it's just understanding, man, that just, living life simply, regardless of what you've built, is one of the greatest blessings that you can have, that mindset. To be able to live simply, to live humbly, and to understand the value of the people that support you, online and offline. Like, I've been to meet and greets, like, where people don't want to, you've seen YouTube videos of, creators at meet and greets who can barely put on a smile for someone. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? Really? And you realize that these are the people who are supporting you, right? I remember Salama and I did a meet and greet in India when we went there for the first time. Alhamdulillah, it was a success. It was supposed to be half an hour. You know how long we stayed there? 4. So
4 hours.
4 hours.
Oh, wow.
We met with every single person who came. And then we did media interviews after. We were the first ones there and the last one. Sorry, there were 4 people there when we got there. Alhamdulillah, we had a good turnout. There was about, I think, 400 or 500 people there. Alhamdulillah. But there were 4 people there when we got there. We were so scared. Oh, is this okay? Because, with meet and greets,
you don't know what to expect.
You don't know what to expect. So what you hope for, and this might seem counterintuitive, but what you hope for is that no one shows up. You know why? Because no one knows. But if 2 or 3 people show up, they'll be like, oh, so he isn't as... so that 7 million doesn't seem too real now. But alhamdulillah, there were about 400 or 500 people there, and we stayed for every single one of them. We stood up, waited, and, they came, they would speak to us, talk to us, engage with them, thank them. But that's how it should be.
I feel like that's probably the character that you instill in your kids as well, because
100%.
A lot of people, when they do make it or whatever, it's a struggle with their kids because they don't know how to teach them the values that they went through or the challenges that you went through, for example. But the way you're speaking now, I can imagine your kids actually listening and saying, you know what, okay, this makes sense in a modern and logical way, as opposed to I never experienced this firsthand, but my dad is like this, and no matter how much success he's seen, he wears a kandora every day.
I mean, alhamdulillah, like, best believe my kids are having summer jobs. My kids work around the house. You want something, you work. What do you mean work, Baba? I'm too young. No, you're not. No, you're not. Understanding that everything comes from your work. Everything, man. Like, I can give you the world. If you can't work, that world is going to be gone in a couple of years. There is nothing more important than you can teach your kids. Obviously there's the respect and all these things. But if you want to give them a tool to succeed in life, it's a strong work ethic. I don't care what my kids want to do in the future. I really don't. You want to be a dancer, you want to be a driver, you want to be an artist, actor, scientist, whatever it is you want to be. Just promise me you'll give it everything. You'll be the best that you can be at it. Not the best in the world, the best version of yourself in this role. And that's what I'm trying to teach my kids, man. It's difficult. It's difficult. Because, we enjoy our work. We're lucky. So they see a lot of that. They watch, Khalifa's of age now where he watches our videos. Hey, Khalifa, what does your dad do? I don't know. He's famous. I don't know. He's got followers and stuff. He does TikToks. Oh, this is the funniest thing, man. Like, someone's like to me, so Khalid, where did you go to university? Oh, where did you go to university? I'm like, oh, well, I went to Northumbria in the UK, and then I did my master's at Standford. And then I was with the family. Then he's like, oh, so what do you do for work now? And then Khalifa's like, he makes TikToks. Like, thanks, son. So I'm a creative content. He's trying like smooth it up, but there was no coming back with that. Like, you know what?
Dig yourself out of that.
Yeah, I'm like, I make TikToks. Then you have to explain what a TikTok is. Then you go into that. But I'm proud of the work we do.
And you've left a huge legacy.
Alhamdulillah,
As you keep
inshallah.
going as well. You know,
Inshallah.
like you said at the beginning, it's really powerful that you can change someone's day, and it is a superpower. And you don't know how many people you are really, truly impacting on a daily basis. It might be content that you created a year ago, and you might not have created it today.
صح.
But that is, I think, a legacy that you should always be proud of, and one that your kids will see. I find it fascinating that, you know, I've got a podcast, and maybe God knows if YouTube will be around in 50, 60 years, but that was always my aim, is that I want my kids to watch it
Inshallah.
and see, you know, okay, what was my dad really like in his youth? And, you know, what kind of message was he putting out there? And these kind of things. The views and the audience is, you know, it's a blessing, but there has to be a deeper purpose. And I get that from you, that really it's about making people laugh, entertaining people, making people forget about their hardships, no matter what you're going through yourself. So honestly, you know, I'm a true fan, but also, you know, I'm honored to be here, because this is something I'll remember. You know, it's
Thank you, man.
it's
Likewise.
It's a blessing. It's a blessing, honestly.
Likewise.